Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm back and we're going to be talking about Elon Musk's business empire is built on $38 billion in government funding by the Washington Post. And I believe they just did this, February 26th of 2025, which it irritates me how they talk about stuff in this. So let's get to it. Elon Musk and his cost-cutting U.S. Doge service team have been on a mission to trim the fat. Oh yeah, that's what he's trimming. But they also say he's been the greatest beneficiary of taxpayer coffers. So let's see what they have to say here. Over the years, Musk and his businesses have received at least $38 billion in government contracts, loans, subsidies, and tax credits. Okay, let's go through those. Contracts. I give you a contract for a project, and you pay me for that service of whatever it's going to be. Let's say if you're a contractor and you're doing concrete work for a driveway, basement, whatever, here I give you a contract. This is what it's going to cost. It's going to cost $50,000, and you either say yes or no. Either you see value in the amount and services and all that you're going to be getting for that amount of money, and you pay it, or you don't. So it's a contract. It's money you're owed for providing a good or service. Okay, so I don't understand why they list contracts. Can't we break these down? How much of the $38 billion is contracts? How much is loans? And how much is subsidies? Well, loans, again, is a loan. You owe that money back. So that's not getting free money per se. It might be getting money to help you, but usually there's interest tied to those loans. So you're going to have to pay that back plus interest. So I don't see an issue there. Now, subsidies and tax credits. Well, that could be an issue. Was he getting subsidies unjustly over any other company? I don't know. That goes into the whole political sphere of if I give you money for your campaign and then you give me a subsidy or tax credit, then, okay. But yet, that seems to be how government works. So can you look at Musk and any of his companies, whether SpaceX, Tesla, Starlink, the solar panels, I don't know if that's under a different one, but all that stuff, subsidies and tax credits, I don't know, because a tax credit could be like, hey, build this factory over here and we're going to give you a tax credit. So you build that factory. That's usually on state level, and usually that's up to the state and county and city and this and that. So if someplace does that, that's on them. But it also draws in employees. So now you're hiring employees, or you're bringing some employees and hiring some employees from the local area, and they're going to be buying houses. They're going to be buying goods and services themselves. So the reason why, like, say, Ford or Toyota or anyone gets, Walmart's, they get a tax credit for an area because they're bringing in so many jobs that create taxes themselves, because there's income tax you got to pay, unemployment, Social Security, all that stuff that a business, large corporation has to pay, gets paid. So that's seen as a good thing typically. So that's why they get those tax credits. Some people don't understand that, and they're just like, well, they got a tax credit. Well, then Walmart wouldn't have built right there, or Ford wouldn't have built that plant right there, or BMW, or all these companies, so on and so forth. That's just how it works. So I don't know. Is that one that's really a big deal? Subsidies is kind of like, you're subsidizing them with federal money, but if they're not doing anything illegal and they put it, towards the administration, whoever that is at the time, and they're like, okay, How much did Biden give him? How much did the other Bushes and this and that? I don't know. And this doesn't break it down that good, unfortunately. So, they use key words in this like help see the growth that has made him the world's richest person. Well, honestly, I would like to see how much was Microsoft given early on. How much was Amazon given? How much was Walmart? How much was Sears or Kmart or any of the past corporations that have been around? Ford, GM, Chrysler, you name it. How much was NASA given? All the government agency, but how much were they giving? Because a big chunk here is SpaceX. Well, SpaceX is taking over what NASA could never do. It's actually cheaper to have SpaceX. I don't know. So this is kind of a really biased article, and I wonder how many liberals out there read something like this, and then they're like, well, oh my God, he's such an evil guy. Look at all the billions he's got. Well, if they're contracts, that's money he earned. And they say it stretched back for 20 years, shortly after becoming CEO of the cash-strapped Tesla in 2008. Musk fought to secure a low-interest loan from the loan. He fought to get a loan. Okay, I don't care. So somebody at a company fought to get a loan from the federal government, specifically from the Energy Department. Okay, and they could have said no. Who was in office at that time in 2008? Yeah. When Tesla soon after realized it was missing a crucial environmental protection agency certification that it needed to qualify for the loan days before Christmas, Musk went straight to the top, urging the EPA Administrator Lisa Jackson to intervene. Well, shouldn't we blame the Lisa Jackson at the time for kind of pushing it through, letting him get his loan or certifications or whatever? I mean, you blame her. You can't blame Musk. I mean, if I, Meeker Extreme, go to the U.S. government and say, hey, I need a loan for my business, and I sweet talk somebody, whatever, and they're like, you know what? Yeah, we'll give you a loan for, $100 million. Are you going to blame me? Or you should probably be blaming them for giving the loan, right? It should be them. I conned my way into the loan. Oh, well. That's life. That's what you do. You sell yourself. Somebody says, hey, I agree with that. And they loan you the money. Not a big deal. So I can't blame Musk. But, we better blame Musk because he's evil. He's pointing out fraud, waste, and abuse in the government. We got to blame him. Fucking crazy. You all are just crazy liberals. Nearly 2/3 of the $38 billion in funds have been promised to Musk businesses in the past 5 years. Promise, that doesn't mean they're guaranteed. Okay. In 2024 alone, federal and local governments committed at least $6.3 billion to Musk companies, the highest total to date. So who was president in 2024? Joe Biden. It also says local governments. So how much is federal? How much is local? They're not going to tell us that. It also says both people that spoke out don't want their name out there for fear of retribution. So is there really anyone out there? I love when news stories always say, oh, well, there's somebody out there. But we can't say because fear of retribution. Then it's could be not real either. You, as the writer of this article, you, as the Washington Post, could have just made up a bunch of shit. So, we don't really know. So, I take that as there is no one. That's how I look at that. That there is really nobody there. Okay? So, let's see. This says in 2014, Nevada pledged $1.3 billion to Tesla to build a factory. That's a state. If a state wants to give money, you vote those people out in that state. But to build a factory, okay, they built a factory, hired people. I don't know. I don't really care. I don't see the big deal. That's a state. If a state is willing to give that much money that is on the state. And those taxpayers in that state can voice their concern. It's much better than the federal government giving money because it's harder for us to voice our concern. We can voice our concern, but it's harder to vote out federal politicians than it is state politicians. Much easier to vote somebody out state level and get behind that than it is on the federal level. So, and then it says SpaceX contracts soar as NASA steps up moon program. Okay, so NASA steps up the moon program because they're incapable of going back to the moon at this point. I don't know why they're not capable, not hiring the right people, just a bunch of idiots. I don't know. SpaceX contracts soar. So SpaceX contracts rise. Contracts. Remember, we talked about this, contracts. So they're providing a good and service to NASA for that money. What's wrong with that? Who else is the other game in town that can go to the moon? Well, Jeff Bezos is trying, and I think at one point, Richard Branson, Virgin Records was trying. I don't know, who's out there really trying. Seems like Elon Musk company, SpaceX, has cornered the market in privately going back to space, the moon, Mars, and all that. So NASA paid money to SpaceX. I don't see what's wrong with that. Can you, as yourself, can I, as Meeker Extreme, provide that service to NASA? No, I cannot. Neither can you if you're watching this video. And you're probably not that wealthy if you're watching this video, to be honest, because, probably not sitting around watching YouTube videos. And I wouldn't probably be making YouTube videos if I was that wealthy. The total amount is probably larger. This analysis includes only publicly available contracts, admitted classified defense and intelligence work for the federal government. SpaceX has been developing spy satellites for the National Reconnaissance Office. Okay, again, goods and services. They're developing, spy satellites. So they're developing spy satellites for the federal government. Again, goods and services. So I don't see a big deal. The contract was worth $1.8 billion, citing company documents. Again, don't see a big deal. It's worth $1.8 billion. Goods and services. The Post found nearly a dozen other local grants, reimbursements, and tax credits where the specific amount of money is not public. Okay, but you're not breaking it down. You're just saying you found this shit, but you're not breaking it down. Let's see what they say. An additional 52 ongoing contracts with 7 government agencies, including NASA, the Defense Department, and the General Services Administration, are on track to potentially pay Musk companies an additional $11.8 billion over the next few years, according to the Post. Well, and this was all done under previous administrations. And that would be nice if they broke that down. What administration? Bush, Clinton, Obama? Who? I don't know. I don't know. Trump's last administration? Biden? I don't know. So we really don't know. And again, these are for goods and services because NASA would want goods and services. The Defense Department, spy satellites, wants goods and services. And I'm not sure what General Services Administration actually means. That seems like a catch-all, so I don't know. Are they just using that as a catch-all in this? I have no idea. Government contracts to SpaceX from NASA and the Defense Department make up the majority of the funds. Okay, again, goods and services, that makes up the majority of the funds. Tesla has earned $11.4 billion in regulatory credits from federal and state programs aimed at boosting the electric car industry, and experts say its sales have been bolstered by federal $7,500 electric vehicle tax credit for the consumers. Yeah, if you're taking advantage of a tax credit, I guess Musk probably, lobbied to have a tax credit, but it also, there's plenty of options out there. You can go buy any of those other options. I see a lot of people driving other EVs other than Tesla, especially in my local area because houses are $600, $700, $800, $900, $1,000 in my local area because that's where they balloon to, and all these Californians and people come in and buy these houses that are really, in my opinion, are overpriced. But that's a whole nother video there because, we paid $300 and now it's worth $700, $800. I would say no, it's not. But if somebody wants to give me that money, that's awesome. We just made a shitload of money on our house, so thank you. But I don't think it's worth that money. I would never pay that money myself for the house. But hey, if somebody sees the value, cool, thank you. I one day we will cash out, and I do predict where we bought our house. I predict in the future it would be like $1.2, $1.5 million because of our view and where we're at in a big yard. And if you had the money and wanted to add a pool, you could add a pool because you got the yard space. And Californians moving here might want to do that. So that is something down the road that I could see people doing. And I think it adds value. It's near the interstate. It's easy access to various stores, where you're not on top of a store, but you're far enough away, like a few miles, that it's only a few miles. You need to go to Walmart. You need to go to a grocery store, King Soopers. You need to come up here Safeway. It's only 5 miles away. Good central location, easy access to the interstate for the airport, to go to Colorado Springs, Denver. Yeah, I see it going up. Now, I would never pay that for my house. I would not pay $1.5 million for my house, but I could see 20 more years down the road it being worth that. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it will go down in value. I don't think so. So I think we lucked out there. I think we picked a very good area. That's doing your research and saying, hey, this area looks for potential for growth. That's your biggest investment. And when we go retire, we're going to cash out and we're getting the hell out of Dodge. I'll tell you what. Some people are like, I'm going to live there forever. No, this ain't our forever home. Nope, not at all. Never retire to a state that has income tax. Retire to a state that doesn't. Just be smart with your money. So anyways, can I really fault Elon for tax credit and 11.4 billion regulatory credits? I mean, if those credits were out there, he lobbied for them. I don't blame him at all. Why would I blame him? Good for him. He got credits. Any business is going to do that, right? DOGE, which stands for Department of Government Efficiency, has sought to cut staff, slash budgets, or cut contracts at all 7 of the agencies where most companies have ongoing contracts. That includes the General Service Administration, Defense Department, and Transportation. Okay, didn't tell me much of which ones they've cut. So far, it sounds like they've cut a bunch of bloat of hiring employees and stuff. So this is pretty vague here. Tell me what, list it. List what he's cut and say how that relates to his companies. I don't see that yet. Okay, maybe they say this down below. Musk relationship with government agencies have at times been mutually beneficial. Okay, once again, I can't really blame him for that. Including space exploration, the expansion of electric vehicles. And hey, by the way, the whole electric vehicle argument is he obviously did lobby to want more credits and easier access to electric vehicles under the whole green thing. Democrats were more than willing to be like, yes, the environment. Somehow these are green. Somehow getting all these batteries and stuff from China, relying on China for our batteries and access to those heavy minerals and what have you that make up batteries. That's a good idea. Hey, liberals played into that game, so you can't really argue now that, oh, well, he benefited. Again, he did nothing illegal. He just fought for shit. Not every entrepreneur at this scale has been this dependent on federal money. Certainly not NVIDIA, not Microsoft, nor Amazon, nor Meta, said Jeffrey Sonfield, professor at the Yale School of Management. Okay, some professor at some school that has never created a job in his life but gave lectures. Man, this goes back to that old movie, Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield, where he lectures the professor on actual building a business. Yeah, professors are good at theory-based shit, but a lot of that stuff doesn't work in the real world now, does it? It doesn't. It really doesn't. I saw that firsthand when I was at University of Michigan at their Flint location, and I had a business course and I had some other course. It's just the theories, Here are our teachers teaching you about how companies should be run. in small businesses and large corporate, but yet they themselves have never run a company, have never started a company, have never hired employees, have never dealt with any of that. So they're only teaching you theory-based out of a book. This is how it's done. And right away I knew that's not how it's done. Not just from watching the movie Back to School, but from actually running my father-in-law's business and just having an interest in business in general. It's like, no, you got to pay people off in certain areas. You got to do this. You got stuff they don't teach you. But, we're supposed to act like, oh, well, professors somehow know when they have not actually created a job in their life. Well, I take that back. They probably create a lot of teacher aide jobs, but real jobs that actually pay real money. They've never done that. With Doge, there does seem to be a paradox there. He has been a big beneficiary of national industrial policy, especially Democrat industrial policy. Yep, so blame the Democrats right there. He's telling you right there, Democrats. So you can't really blame Musk. Why are you blaming Musk? Blame the policies that he took advantage of or he lobbied for. Blame those. Can't really blame the man. Government funding also provided key early infusions to Musk Ventures. NASA and the Defense Department nurtured SpaceX in its earliest years with contracts that helped to build, again, contracts, goods and services. He provided goods and services. They believed in him. They paid him money. And he accomplished those missions that were set forth. Nothing wrong there. A $465 million Energy Department loan. Again, it's a loan, people. A loan. Got to be paid back. 2010, with that money, the company engineered and assembled its luxury electric sedan, the Model S. Yeah, okay. And, it's a loan. So, that was the idea. So, it built a successful car. It hired employees. It hired builders and welders and city people even to go inspect when they were building these plants and what have you. And then the area where you have plant workers are going to boom because fast food and restaurants and hotels and this and that. So they all get a benefit. So a lot of tax money was made. Tesla would not have survived without the loan. No, probably not. Because getting into the automotive industry today, you go try to start an automotive industry, you're not going to be able to. It's like me trying to be a power sports dealer. It's very, very difficult because you have a monopoly on power sports dealers that at the end of the day get to give their okay if you get a power sports license. I mean, it's really, really crooked. Same if you want to sell automobiles and just have a dealership. You can't just go open a dealership on the corner. You can't just do that nowadays. You got to go get licensing and you got to go do this and that. And then you got to get the blessing of the automotive dealerships that you can have a dealership. Is it going to cut into their market? Because they're not going to want you around. So, it's just a game you got to play. So it's a loan. They got a loan. They benefited. Yeah, okay. That's a lot of stuff he got under the Democrat leadership. Just remember that. Musk himself noted the challenges facing the company at the time. Yeah, we know all about that, Jackson declined to comment through a representative at Apple, where she now works. SpaceX, Musk, and Tesla did not respond to requests for comment. Okay. And another vague statement from an article, because we don't even know if they actually ever reached out to these people. So you never really know. NASA spokesman Cheryl Warner said the agency has invested more than $15 billion in SpaceX on its numerous programs. Yeah, again, for goods and services. $15 billion was given to Musk for goods and services. So how much did he make off of the $15 billion? I don't know. You would have to see their spreadsheet of what their cost was and what they actually made. So let's say they spent $10 billion in developing shit and the goods and services, and they made $5 billion. Maybe that's fair. I don't know. We're not seeing the whole picture here. Again, these stories are always flawed because they don't paint you the whole picture. It's a political hit piece because it's Elon Musk. Now, I want to be clear here. I don't like Elon Musk. I think he's a little special. Does he have good ideas that have generated interest in various fields? Yes. Has he created products? Yes. Or he hires people that have created these products. I mean, let's be fair. But yes, he's good with business. And he has successfully had and has many companies that are worth billions of dollars because he has created goods and services that we need and we see value in, so we pay for those. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't like Elon, but I can look at this in a few different ways from a few different views, As far as Doge, he's been doing great. Don't we all want to find fraud, waste, and abuse? I think we do. And it's funny that people are so worried about, especially normal folk. Why are you, as a normal person, why are you worried if he finds this, that, and everything? Why are you worried if he recommends to President Trump that you got to get rid of 20,000 workers over here or 50,000 over here or whatever it is? I mean, the president at the end of the day is the one that's making those calls. Elon's not. He's just saying, hey, there's all these wasted employees over here. We don't need this many people. We don't need 80,000 IRS agents. We don't. So it just kind of goes on here. As much as Tesla executives valued the government support, Musk paid off the 2010 low-interest loan. So they wait way into the article because they know a lot of people aren't going to read the whole thing. They're going to skim the top and they're going to be like, well, there you go. So he paid off the 2010 low-interest loan within a matter of years. Years, people. He paid that off. So it was a loan. So it didn't affect you. It didn't affect me. He paid interest on that loan. It was low interest, but he paid it off, and there was some interest, so there was some money being made. Of course, they don't tell you the interest rate, but they don't tell you how much was being made, but it was. So there was money being made. In the 2013 news release announcing that he had done so, Musk thanked the Energy Department and Congress, and particularly the American taxpayer from whom these funds originated. Yeah, he paid off the loan. So I would say he's a good person to do business with as far as the federal government because he paid off the loan early. So, hey, if you want to borrow more money and pay interest, yeah, why not do that? He proved himself. Remember the SBA, Small Business Administration, you can borrow money. It's really hard to do so. So him being able to go to the top and get a big loan is amazing. But at the same time, you can go through the paperwork and the hassle and go through the SBA, and you can get big loans too, fairly large sum loans if you have a track record of paying stuff back. I think they saw that he was creating a lot of value for the money given, a lot of jobs. So thus, he not only got the loan, he created jobs that those people paid income tax to the federal government, to the state governments, and bought goods and services themselves, which then more tax money went to federal government, state governments. So really, even if it was low interest loan, it was high interest at the end of the day because everyone paid the federal government something. You don't get out of paying stuff. We all know that. That's where I'm going to stop. Obviously, Tesla flourishes on a wave of state aid, and they're really trying to ding them here. Automotive credits totaled nearly $1.6 billion. Without them, Tesla would have lost $718 million. Maybe so. I don't know. You can read this for yourself. Obviously, the link's right up here in the bar. But yeah, you can read all this and decide for yourself. But just from what I see at the beginning alone myself, just reading that first part, it's just a hit piece because it's Elon Musk. And, I'm not going to buy a Tesla because Elon, he's finding fraud, waste, and abuse. Oh, he's going to make it so hard to get Social Security and this and that. We need to revamp the whole effing system. We got to get rid of all of it and start over. When we're in this much debt as a nation, we need to start over. And, what? We're just saying, no, you got to keep hiring employees. You got to keep them on. Can't disrupt anything. Heaven forbid if Sally takes an extra week to get her Medicaid check or Social Security check or welfare check or whatever. Well, you know what? Maybe it takes that extra week. Maybe it takes an extra few weeks. We got to nix everything and start over. Everyone's always complained about bloated government. No one's ever wanted to do anything. Here's a time when people are trying to do something, whether you think it's right or wrong. Yes, are there going to be hiccups along the way? Are they going to get rid of somebody and have to rehire a few people? Yes. They're probably going to have to do that because until you get rid of them, then you'll see what you actually need or don't need. Maybe you can cut more. Maybe you need to hire back 500 people if you got rid of 20,000 people. But that's something we see as you get rid of it. And then what can we use to automate a lot of these systems? People are like, well, you're already on the phone for a long time with the IRS or Social Security Administration. Well, maybe we need to invest in technology and let you get a lot of that stuff answered by yourself by having a web portal. Oh, but you'll be hacked. Oh, shit, they're already getting hacked. So what's the matter? Or being able to call and actually get a live agent. Maybe we need more live call centers so you can get live people than we need people sitting around pushing papers around. A lot of this stuff could probably be automated. A lot of these agencies have not really been upgraded. So as we find cuts and we know where we're saving money, we can invest money into upgrading those agencies so they run more efficiently, thus being able to answer your question. So maybe it's a pain for a year or two. Maybe you got to wait a little longer or you have to do this or that. Oh well, live with it. I'm sure if you live 70 years already, heaven forbid, a couple years ain't gonna kill you. You know, you are already living with a shitty system, so it ain't gonna hurt to live with a little bit slower system while we repair stuff. Anyways, y'all take care, stay well, stay safe, and I know this is gonna piss a lot of liberals off, but this is what I say to them. Have a good one. Bye.